Hello, and welcome back to Inside Oakland County. Hey, did you know we have an international airport in Oakland County? Well, we do, and it's located on M59, just west of Airport Road. And we have a lot of events out there. You can take flying lessons, you can go in commuter, there's a lot of traffic in there. And every August, we have an open house and an air show. You know, and speaking of the Oakland County International Airport, the Inside Oakland County crew paid a visit to the airport. One of the things I might make sure I let you all know, I am the chairman of the airport committee as part of the Board of Commissioners, and sitting with me today is really what I consider the expert of this facility, and his name is J. David VanderVeen, and Dave is the director of Central Services, which takes into the account the airport here. And so I think what we should do, Dave, is get started and tell us a little history about the facility, how we got a hold of it as Oakland County, where it's been, and maybe even go back deeper in history as to when it might have been a grass field.
Oh, I'll be happy to. Mr. Chairman, thank you for coming out to the airport and as part of the empire that you're involved with. And of course, Mr. Scott, as you might know, is just coming back from Alaska. And I venture to say you flew in from Alaska.
Yeah, there we go, but not into here,
no.
Even though this airport could have handled that aircraft.
But that's sort of a segue into saying that we're in the 21st century.
We are now.
We are in the air age. And so much of our economy is we're worldwide from Oakland County, including this airport, which is an international airport.
Right.
This is the time for aviation, and we're here at the right time with this airport. So
what makes this an international airport, Dave?
Customs. People can fly in, and it's a great service because you can fly in from another airport on a private aircraft, and I'll go into what our airport is in terms of the type of airplanes, and be processed through customs. You can fly any place in the world, come to Oakland County, your customs is right here.
Perfect.
And the same, yes, and of course the flip side is we can fly out of here and go any place in the world. Right. But this airport is a general aviation airport. Now let me define general aviation. That's everything in the civilian fleet except for airlines and excepting the military. It accounts for 95% of the airplanes in the United States. Does 3/4 of the travel. It's the corporate executive traveling. It's the charter. It's the air freight. It's the air ambulance. It's the police helicopter. It's the crop duster. It's pleasure flying. Add that all up, that's 95% of aviation in the United States, of the airplanes. So people are often surprised when I tell them that we're the second busiest airport. That all adds up to we're the second busiest airport in the state of Michigan, behind Detroit Metro.
Okay, so now we're sitting in this beautiful facility, which wasn't always here, but more importantly, let's go back and talk about the actual airport itself and what we offer, what we do, the types of facilities that we have on here. Talk a little bit about that for me.
The airport goes back. It's one of the earlier airports in the United States. It goes back to 1929. Mm-hmm. And it actually started in 28. The 29 is when we were certified. And by those days, you didn't have the Federal Aviation Administration. It was the U.S. Department of Commerce.
Right.
And they gave this airport a certificate. It's an A1A. And then it had a number behind it. And the number is 00001. 5 zeros and a 1. It was the first certified airport in the United States.
Right, so and I do believe we have that certificate here on display that we can show later.
In the following year, they had an air meet here, and it was signed by Orville Wright.
Orville Wright of the Wright brothers was out
right.
here in Oakland Airport. That's amazing.
So well, he signed. That's right. He signed the certificate, so he had to sign it someplace. I hope it was here.
That's amazing.
And then I think the following, close to that time, this was the site of the first air tour promoting commerce and business in the state of Michigan. And it started here at this airport. And that air tour continues today. Around 2000, we had a real noise problem out here. I'm sure you remember that.
Yes, I do, especially when we tested engines.
Yep, exactly. And it was the old Stage 1 engines. We started a noise abatement program. Mm-hmm. Spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, even dressed up the landscape to help provide buffers, built buffer walls. And I think the result is one of the more attractive facilities in Waterford Township, frankly, with the landscape around. We're very, very proud of it. This is our front porch to Waterford, to Oakland County. And people land here, this is the first thing they see. And we're going to leave an impression. It's either going to be a good one or a bad one.
Right.
So we started with that. Then more specifically to the noise, we bought some houses that were really severely impacted, insulated hundreds of homes from and then air conditioned them, put in thick windows and doors. And then really the final component is something you mentioned. We had a very, as you test engines, it isn't just they start up and they leave in 30 seconds and it's gone. It's there for 3 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then backs down, and it's a long, very irritating source of noise. So we decided to build a ground run-up enclosure, but in the meantime, we've improved the facilities out here so that it's modern, it's high-tech, and the ground run-up enclosures that they're building looked like, frankly, old erector sets, nuts, bolts, some sheet metal, and we lobbied to the FAA and said we want this to be a positive-looking thing, our high-tech, our professional image, and so let's make it attractive. We then proceeded to build the first attractive ground run-up enclosure in the world. Now others are coming on, but we'll always be the first in the world. And not only is it pleasing to look at, it was designed to reduce noise by 72%. And after we put this extra skin on to make it attractive, it became 95%.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's quite it's out here on the airport, and it's something that you really.
Hopefully, you'll take a look at it as you.
Because that's a really unique thing. So, and then okay, go ahead.
Then as we in 2000, after the turn of the century, we wanted to make our runways long enough so that we could get to any place in the world frankly, with a 727 airplane.
Right.
This is the 21st century, as I mentioned before, in the air age. We need to get places to around the world, and the world needs to get here.
Correct.
So they had relocated Williams Lake Road, which allowed us to extend the runway a few hundred feet, which now we can fly nonstop out of this airport in a 727 and go any place in the world nonstop. Yeah. Having done that, we've now made the airport safe. We've got all the modern facilities in it. We had an old, outmoded terminal building that was built. That's
what we got to get to. Oh boy, I was there.
Well, you went through it. That's right. And leaky windows, asbestos. It was not functional anymore. So we first looked at remodeling, and that wasn't going to work. So we said, let's raise it and do it right.
Right.
So we built the facility that you're sitting in now, and we did it with energy to make it energy efficient. We have a 44% energy savings in it, by the way, and then as a result, we were gold certified from a LEED certified. That's Leadership in Environmental Energy Design. And we became the first general aviation airport in the nation to have one of those. Right. So this is the kind of image you like to portray.
There's two things on that. Number one, with that jet sitting out there in the old building with the windows we had, we wouldn't be having this conversation today.
I can't hear you.
That's right, this close.
It affected me over these years. Yeah.
When a jet took off, your windows in your office rattled, and that's what we had. So we did this with this building here, and we got it to be that. Then we came and we decided we wanted to rebuild this. I remember it in committee. I think all of us said, and we want to make it as green as we can, unless we can't afford it. And talk about it. I know it's LEED certified. I know it's got some great features we're going to talk about, but go for it.
And the beauty of this, too, is this was done with airport funds. General tax dollars did not go into this facility. We got a grant from the federal government, some from the state aeronautics, and the rest was from our airport fund. And incidentally, as you know so well, the airport operates on its own revenues. We do not get a subsidy.
There's no general fund money, and I know we've been going through the budget. None of your tax dollars, that 4.19 mils you pay in property taxes, does not go for this operation. This is pretty much self-sufficient on its own. And talking about that, and as you said, Fortune 500 companies and things like that come in. We're going to talk about this because behind us here is the doorway in from outside. And imagine you're a
a corporate executive, or you're going to entertain somebody that you want to relocate. Maybe you want them to come here into West Bloomfield and put a business up, and he's going to fly in. This facility is available for you to meet them right here at the door. And not only do you meet them at the door, you can go into one of our conference rooms, you can have your whole meeting here, and that person can get back on his aircraft and fly to wherever he had to be, and you could consummate your business without a person having to generate an overnight stay. Gets his job done, you get your work done, and we move on. And that's so talk about the things we put into this building just to let us do that.
And by the way, you're not hassled by the TSA either.
Oh yeah, no TSA. You know,
So we have a conference room here. We have two conference rooms. One of them holds about 25 people, and the other 125 people.
Right.
And we encourage community events out here as well. If somebody wants to have an event, the township or school districts or private entrepreneurs, we encourage them to use this. This is their building.
Yeah, I remember that. It's a facility in such a way you can have events out here. You can have music. You can have adult beverages. I know we have a license that allows that to happen, but it's a great facility. Talk to me about, there's an aircraft hanging up here.
Oh, that.
It's up there, and
Well, there's nothing that says airport more than an airplane does.
right.
And when we designed this terminal, it was obvious that it was tall enough that we could fit a little airplane in there. And that particular plane was built by a guy named Henry Haig, who lives, a local guy over in Howell. And he was a national aerobatic champion.
Okay.
And so the airplane actually was in Kalamazoo, in the Air Zoo over there. And we sort of twisted their arm with what we had to, all the people we could have see it. And
Sure.
They loaned us the airplane.
So it's
We
hanging
don't
in
have
there.
a term on the loan. We'll keep it as long as we can.
But it's on loan to us, and
Yeah,
that's
but
pretty
it's-
interesting.
It's neat.
It is really a cool thing you see. And then when you enter, coming in the front door from the parking lot, you were going to come through two doors, and you're going to see a red carpet, which looks like landing lights right down
Correct.
the middle.
Yep.
Now, that was intended to be our.
That's a welcome mat with landing lights on.
Yeah,
You're
and
good,
so-
good observation.
So
Yep.
you can either come in from the parking lot and see that, or the door behind us when the person enters off of his aircraft.
Either way, it says welcome.
Right. We've got a lot of green features, and I want you to expand upon those green features. I know them, but you take it.
Incidentally, I don't hear that anymore.
Oh no. Nobody's complaining
now
about
that
the
it's up
airport.
and running, why?
Yeah, now it's a pride.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the green in
Well,
here.
the green is how we got our LEED certification, but we have a photovoltaic energy produced here. We have wind turbines. The real big one is geothermal.
Right.
And that is, we don't have an air conditioning or heater in the traditional sense. We take the water out of the ground, which comes in at maybe 55 degrees. And if it's in the wintertime, you're starting with water then that isn't frozen.
Right.
And that can be applied to the heat, because it's certainly 55 degrees, a lot warmer than it is outside, when
Right.
it's 0, 20 degrees. And then the reverse of that is, in the summertime, 55 degrees is very cool. And so the air conditioning and heating comes off that water, which is warm in the winter and cool in the summer. So
Right, and-
that is a tremendous savings in energy cost.
And that's not city water as such. That's natural water from the ground.
That's correct. That's
Because of
groundwater.
where we're located here in
That's
Oakland
correct.
County.
Yep.
Okay.
So, and then we have the solar panels. So
Right.
that's all combined to what I mentioned before is 44% savings in,
Right.
in operating the
And,
building.
of course,
But we're
the
being
wind- we
good
got some
stewards and good citizens too.
good
Yeah.
wind turbines and outside generating some electricity. I know I don't remember the dollar sign on it that we had presented a couple years ago by Brooks, and just the energy savings from the old building to the new building was tremendous.
Yes. Yep.
And
44%, almost half.
Yeah, and it was a large dollar
And it's
amount.
basically the same footprint, so in terms of size. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that will pay off. In the longer you go in the future, the better payoff it is from those.
Right. Yeah, in the rest of the building, we talked about the conference room. Now, we're in the lobby, and I'm looking over at the conference room right now, which seems sealed off from here. But at the same token, when we designed this building, that wall moves. Tell us about the wall and how it moves.
Well, if you're going to take a picture of it, it rolls up into the ceiling.
Right.
And opens up that space to join with this space, and that's how it can fit. Well, actually, with this space, we can get 150 people in here to a conference or a setting.
Mm-hmm. And we've got the audio-visual and everything.
We have audio, video. We have the large TV screens for PowerPoints, and we have another screen that's bigger than that for PowerPoints. So, and then we have a food preparation kitchen in there, and so that we can have food catered and beverage, as you pointed out. And then at the far end of that building is the United States Customs.
Okay.
And they process passengers coming in and out of foreign countries. So the building has a lot of utility.
It does, and it's one that we should be using more, I think, just for the fact of the great ambiance that we have within here to have an event here. I mean, I've been to fundraisers for youth assistance and things like that at Plantera in West Bloomfield, but maybe some other communities might want to look at having something out here with an aviation theme. It can be used summer, winter, whatever.
More than welcome.
Right.
That's why it's here. It's a community event.
Appreciate it. Well,
community facility.
I think we learned a lot about the airport. I appreciate your time and giving us all this information. Love the fact that we had the first certificate at the time, and that we no longer have a grass field. We do have pavement out there.
Many times.
You know, over and over, I think the one thing that surprised me most is when we got that water oil separator thing underground, the way we did it. To literally take any of the droppings, anything that falls on there, it goes into the basin, is separated out, that only good water then flows back out into the stream or wherever we discharge. So that's great. David, this has been good.
Well, thank you for coming out to the airport. As you can tell, I can talk about this all day.
Well, I hope you enjoyed our show. And if you have any questions regarding Oakland County government, feel free to contact me via email at scottj@oakgov.com. I'm Oakland County Commissioner John Scott, and I want to say thanks for watching. Now get out there and enjoy all that Oakland County has to offer.